My stepmom made my dad's death all about herself. Her dad just died and I don't feel bad for her. I can't help but have zero sympathy. My dad passed away in September, and my stepmom has made the entire process of his death, memorials, and estate an absolute hell. She cut me and my mom out of the obituary, demanded I be her emotional support after I lost my dad, then got mad when I didn't pander to her feelings. Instead of grieving my father, the whole thing has been about her, her feelings, and their marriage. She's a huge victim and a total narcissist. I haven't spoken to her since my father's funeral 2 weeks after his death and am probably going to hire a lawyer to deal with the will so I don't have to interact with her. I could go off on a tangent for hours, but long story short, this woman is half of what I talk about in therapy and the reason for half my trauma. Anyway, she texted me last night that her dad died. I did reach out and call her, but she was rude, manipulative, and antagonistic on the phone. She was still complaining that I wasn't available to tend to her emotional needs and check up on her. This is the same woman who won't let me read the will or tell me how much I'm inheriting. I guess all this is to say that I don't really feel bad for her. This woman has made my life hell since she married my dad, made his death a nightmare, and I don't really care what she's going through. She made lots of bad decisions including breaking up my parents' marriage, so I almost feel as if karma is finally catching up to her. She's had a carefree life since she married my dad, and I'm almost glad she's finally having to go through it and suffer like the rest of us. She's codependent as hell and has never had to truly be on her own in life. I met the wife of the man I got into a fatal car accident with last night and only found out today. I, 16F, got into a car accident in February this year. I was not charged, cops at the scene deemed it 50-50 accident, solicitor's office said it was most accident he'd seen. And insurance company deemed it 80% to 20%, me being 20%. So much is going on in my life right now. I'm a small enrollment student, having financial and family issues, I have finals next week, and I just got the biggest bomb dropped on me today. My great-grandmother had the bug guy come over and spray her house down. Along with him came a very lovely lady I'll call Violet for privacy. Violet and I had a very lovely conversation, talking about various things. Earlier that year in February, I got into an accident with her then husband, Mike. Mike was in the middle of the road jaywalking on a dark, rainy night at the edge of a median. There was a crosswalk about 70 feet down the road, there were sidewalks. There had been countless car accidents in that area before, there is now a pedestrian walkway and cement filling in that median. He was getting his hospitalized wife juice from across the street, and I hit him. I was going under 30 miles per hour, I was not on my phone, the radio was not on. He was a frail man, and hit his head on the ground after we collided. He did not fly over the car, he was clipped by the edge of my car and flew back. I was in my mom's new car with my dad, I only had a learner's permit at the time, and I was trying to cut on the headlights. I was always in my lane, I never veered into the median. I had a lovely conversation with Violet, she was so kind and had so many things happen to her. She had that lovely conversation with me, the girl who killed her husband. What do I do? How do I process this? I'm sick. I feel so sick. So much is going on. Hate my husband now that he's a pro athlete. I'm 24F, my husband is 25 meters. We got married a few years ago and met in high school. He is a pro athlete, and I'm going to school next year because I quit everything to follow him around. He used to be such a great guy, and now I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a humble bone left in his body. When we first found out he'd be playing hockey professionally, he wanted me to drop out of college so I could be there, and now he just wants me to stay home. He doesn't want anyone to know about us publicly because he claims he's trying to protect me from the people on social media, which I don't buy honestly. He is so rude to anyone outside his circle, honestly a lot of the time he's rude to people in it too. If fans come up to him when cameras are near, he's all smiles and happy to greet them. If no one's around, he will pretty much tell anyone to F off. He's even rude to kids sometimes. If I talk to anyone about this, the only response is I should be grateful because everyone's struggling and we're not. Which I am grateful, but it actually means nothing to me. I'd rather us be struggling and him be the guy I fell in love with in grade 10 any day. It all sucks because we've been together so long and I love him, but I don't love the new him. So leaving in my mind is leaving the guy I fell in love with, not leaving this guy who doesn't even seem like he gives a SHT about me. Multiple times since summer he's driven home drunk. He doesn't care. His only response when I got upset was that he can pay his way out of anything, so he told me to shut up about it and stop making a big deal. He was drunk. Like word slurring and looking like he was about to get violent drunk. I asked him to try therapy and get the same answer, to shut up about it. The only way I get a taste of who he used to be is if I go along with everything, do whatever he says and agree with everything to make him happy enough to be nice to me. He also believes he doesn't need to consent to do anything to me, sober or drunk doesn't matter. He also gets so mad if you call him out. You can't reason with him in anything, he thinks he's above everyone including me. The only thing keeping me from going is the hope he changes back, but I think it's over TBH. The worst is that his parents back him on everything, even when I told them about him drinking and driving. Apparently I'm ungrateful for what he does for me, but I'm not. I do a lot for him too, but nobody tells him to be grateful. I want to share my baby's gender without people correcting us. Hi everyone, I'm currently pregnant with my first. My partner and I just found out the sex of our baby. We're having a girl, and we're both excited. However, it seems whenever my partner tells their friends of the gender, there's always that one friend that doesn't congratulate us but rather feel the need to correct us by saying you mean you're having a fab or tell us we're better than that shouldn't be talking about the gender. We're both queer, open-minded, and will support our child with whatever gender they associate themselves with later on in life. We plan on having a healthy conversation as they get older about sex and gender. Or accept our child if they tell us they feel more of one gender than their biological gender. My partner and I went through similar things growing up and understand that feeling. We don't want our child to feel isolated or unheard. But at this moment, why can't I say we're having a daughter without getting lectured for calling them that? What do I say to people when they ask us? It just upsets me when they know what kind of people we are. We just want to share the news without having to go into detail about our parenting plan in regards to the topic or feel guilty for saying her biological sex. I'm having a son and my partner does not want him. Before I start, I'll give some context. I am 26. I've been working since I was 18, I have a career and I've been saving to get a master's degree in a couple of years. You could say I'm in a good position. I'm currently paying off an apartment I bought 5 years ago. I still have 10 years left to pay, but it doesn't affect me much financially. My partner and I plan to get married after the birth of our son. She's 24, younger than me and we started dating when we were 20 and 18 respectively. She was also working at the time of getting pregnant and was earning good money. We didn't have a baby planned for now, although we did want at some point soon. Despite the surprise, we were both very happy with the news. I dedicated all my time outside of work to my girlfriend, sometimes I even asked to leave early or work from home for days to better serve her. My mother also helps at home and gets along very well with my partner. Her mother cannot help, as she lives in another country. My girlfriend wanted a girl, and absolutely all of her girlfriends began to reassure her that she would have a girl, because of the shape of her belly, her cravings, her emotions, the kicking, etc. The only list of names she had in mind were for girls. I didn't care, to be honest. 2 weeks ago, the doctor finally told us we would have a boy. I celebrated. When we got back to the car, my girlfriend became uncontrollable, crying and hitting me repeatedly. She has long nails. She accused me of betraying her for celebrating a misfortune. My mother tried to talk to her, but it was useless. Now she's eating almost nothing, she hardly drinks water or juices, she puts up with his cravings, cries all day, and I even have had to resort to asking for a home doctor. We had one more appointment this week. She also refuses to take her vitamins and demands that I go back to work and not think about her anymore. She got to the horrible point of trying to drink some wine we had stored. My mother caught her and lectured her. I am devastated and extremely worried. I don't know how else to feel. I feel like I have too much anxiety and I don't know how to help. I'm crying as I write this. The thought of losing a child at the whim of my partner feels terrible. But even worse is seeing my girlfriend in this state and not being able to do anything. I don't know if her suffering is something hormonal, something that comes from some untold trauma, or if it is something driven by her friends. I don't even know if I'm the problem. Anyway, I don't know what to do and I feel terrible. Sometimes I feel that all this is exaggerated, that it is not normal, but I also want to understand.